Whatever you do not want to be spending the $1 bills that you see in this video because they sold for a lot more money than just $1. Not many people know what to look for when it comes to their $1 bill, but this is the only video you'll need for these types of $1 bills, so save it and share it with someone you care about because we're about to get right into it. So here are two $1 bills that sold on eBay. Now the first area I want you to look at is the district seal on the left-hand side. You see the top bill has a J. The bottom bill has a B. The J stands for Kansas City and the B stands for New York. So this is the district that these bills were intended for. Now, why does this matter to you? Well, if you notice, the prefix or the first letter of the serial number is also a J. On the bottom bill, it's a B. Now, the district letter and that prefix should always be the same. If they are not, it could be very valuable and rare. Next, and not many people know about this, if you look at the district numbers around the bill, you're going to see on the top bill, there are small number 10s, there are 4 of them. In the bottom bill, there are number 2s. So here's the thing, that district letter and the district number should always be the same in the alphabet. For example, B is the second letter in the alphabet, so there are 2s around the bill. J is the 10th letter in the alphabet, so there are 10s around the bill. If that letter and those numbers are different, that means your bill could be incredibly rare. So if you haven't noticed already, these bills have semi-fancy serial numbers. The top one has multiple 1s and a 909. The bottom one has a bunch of 8s, which is pretty neat. So there are collectors out there that like collecting bills like this. Now you also notice that there are some folds on these bills. You can see they are pretty hard. Now understand that if the bills were in better condition, they would have sold for a lot more money, but someone was able to turn $2 into $12 selling these two 2017 $1 bills on eBay. Let's go to the next bill. I won't spend too much time on this bill, but yes, this is a real bill and it sold for $28,750. I'll keep this very brief and to the point. This is the first year they ever produced small size paper money. The red seal and serial numbers mean that it's a legal tender note. That means you technically could bring this to a bank or a grocery store and pay with it. Although I advise against that for 2 reasons. 1, you would probably get the cops called on you because most people think a bill like this is fake. And 2, there is much more collector value in a bill like this one that sold for $28,750. If you have one, keep it safe and flat. Let's go to the next bill. Now here's something you got to pay attention to. So you immediately can tell that the top margin of this bill is very thick. Some people that look at this may think, oh my gosh, this is a rare bill. Here's something that not many people know. If your banknote starts with the serial number 999 like this, that means that it came in an uncut sheet. What does that mean? There's a giant sheet of bills that they were able to sell to the public and they differentiated them by having a 999 at the start of all the serial numbers. So what happened here is that someone cut this bill to make it look like a rare air and they're selling them on eBay for $35. That's essentially an unlimited money glitch where someone's buying sheets of $1 bills, cutting them up, making them look rare and selling them for a lot more money than $1. I'll spend a few seconds here, but this bill is, yes, indeed genuine and it sold for $31,200. Now I could make a whole video about notes like these because I love these old bills. Now understand this is a bill from 1869. This is what collectors call a large size bill. Now the nickname of this $1 bill is a rainbow note because of the red, the blue, and the green that you see there. These are essentially security features that were given to this bill to deter counterfeiting. Now just look at the back of this bill, how beautiful the ornate details are. Such a beautiful bill. Now understand that this was after the Confederate War when they really upped their game with paper money production. What you need to know is that if you have a rainbow note from 1869 like this, 1, I'm completely jealous of you because I love these bills, and 2, you could have something worth a ton of money because this one sold for $31,200. Let's go to the next one. So this is where it gets interesting, guys, and I want to make sure that nobody's getting scammed and ripped off. So the biggest thing, guys, is doing your own homework and research, understanding that there are people out there trying to take advantage of us, but that's why it's so important for us to be able to research and do our homework on bills like this. But this bill is what collectors call a web note. Now, if you haven't noticed already, you can see Washington's face there looks a bit strange. That's because the printing process for this bill was different than how they typically did it. So back in the late 80s, the US Bureau of Engraving and Printing wanted to try a new method of printing paper money because they wanted to see if they could become more efficient. So what they did was they took the same printing presses that they used for newspapers and started producing money. These bills were made in one continuous roll instead of sheets like it's done today. What you need to know is that this process made a ton of errors and mistakes, so they quickly stopped producing these bills. Now, there are 3 ways to tell if you have one of these bills, and this is exactly how. The first way is Washington's face. It's going to look very washed out. Okay, so keep a close eye on Washington's portrait. Next, if you look at the front plate number, so you don't really need to worry about what the number means, but essentially it's an internal bookkeeping purpose for the US Bureau of Engraving and Printing. But here's what you look for. So that front plate number on a web note is only going to be a number, while as typically issued bills that are not web notes are going to have more than just a number. Now, one of the easiest spots that I tell people to look for is on the back of the bill. On the right hand side of In God We Trust, you will see the back plate number. So typically that back plate number is in a different location. Again, I have diagrams up on the screen to show you, but someone was able to turn this $1 bill into $205 just because of that one little detail. $24,000 for this $1 bill. Now, it's important to know this is also a web note, and I forgot to mention that web notes, as long as you have at least one of those things I talked about, that means you have all 3. You can never just have one. They all come together. Now, this is a very cool bill. Now, remember before I was telling you that there is a lot of errors and mistakes on these bills because of the way they were produced? Well, let me know down in the comment section below. Pause the video really quick. Why did this bill sell for so much money? If you can see it right now, leave a comment down below. And if you don't know, write out, I don't know. All right, go ahead and do that now. So this is exactly why. This bill graded by PCGS at a 40 PPQ. That means there are multiple folds and dents on this bill. I will tell you this right now. If the bill was to have graded in a better condition, it would have sold for so much more money than $24,000. But here's the thing. So it is a web note and it is graded at a extremely fine grade. But the biggest reason is because of the suffix letter is mismatched. You can see at the top right, it's an L, and the bottom left, it's a star. Those should be the same, either both a star or both an L, but they're not. And that's why this bill sold for $24,000. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you in the next one.